Hi, welcome to Driveway Icons. I'm here this time with a Land Rover Series 2, not a 2A, a 2, a 1960, which belongs to Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Thanks for bringing it in. We're going to go and have a look around it, get inside it, learn about the story and find out more about why Chris owns and loves this Land Rover. So Chris, thanks for welcoming me into your Land Rover Series 2.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so tell me, I suppose the question is, why? Why do you own a 1960 Series 2 Land Rover?
I've always loved classic cars, and my family are big on classic cars, so I grew up with MGs, Rileys, 2CVs,
Two CVs,
and one of the cars that we saw but never had in the family was a Land Rover. And so about 20 years ago, this one came up on eBay, and I went, and it was at the start of eBay.
Had you had a beer? Oh no!
No. Well, this was the thing. I was at work, and I got a thing come through to say this has appeared, because I've been searching for them. And so I caught the train up, met this policeman who was selling it, and I bought it and drove it back, and it promptly broke down.
I was going to say, did it make it?
And yeah, so it broke down on the motorway coming over the Dartford crossing, and so I did the Dartford crossing at about 20 miles an hour, and managed to get myself home.
Welcome to Land Rovers. We were mentioning earlier, you kind of need to have some engineer in you, really, to own one, don't you? I mean, some people say that, no, I'm not an engineer, but are you? What level of mechanical need do you have to have this thing?
I will admit I am terrible. I grew up watching my granddad do his car, and so there's a few bits I can do, and I can diagnose a few things. But the great thing with Land Rovers is they are so simple. And so what I've done is I'm the guy that can swap a part out.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not mechanically minded.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If I know that, and I'll give the job a go.
So mechanically, what's under the bonnet? Is it the 1.6 petrol, or is it something else?
This is a 2.25.
So yeah, 2.25 petrol probably produces about 10 horsepower or something. I wonder what it actually is.
I would hope.
Does it go up hills?
It'll get to the top of the hill. It'll always get to the top of the hill. You just can't tell you when. Go briefly. Owning it. What's it like owning a Land Rover from a point of view of getting it to always work and running, and we're going to get under the bonnet in a minute, have a look underneath. Is it okay to own one of these? I love it, and you'll see when we open up the bonnet, there's a couple of little embarrassing bits where they were kind of battlefield repairs and things. But the thing I love about it is I use it for my kids. We go camping in it. They can climb all over it, and I'm not worried about the paintwork. There's nothing that they can do to really damage it.
Yeah. Just before we get out, one thing I notice is, and I don't know if it's by design, because was it really for military originally or land? We don't know. But the visibility, maybe it's just because of what it is, but the glass, you can see everything. Yeah. 360.
Yeah. Well, everything can be taken off. You can just pull everything off with a couple of spanners.
A no-roofed car.
Absolutely. I don't know. I could,
How cool is that?
With a couple of spanners, the whole thing will be apart, and
a Willis Jeep almost.
It's a Jeep again. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, out we go. We are. Some people might call it WIP, isn't it? Work in progress. It looks lovely. It makes me smile.
Yeah, it will always be. I think that's the point. It's rough and ready.
Yeah, rough, and I like it. It makes me grin, because I sort of look at it and think it's been working. It's been repaired. I personally love the cable tie, just holding on the choke cable and the throttle.
I'm a little bit embarrassed about that.
But it's here working.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a field repair, and
I got a lovely phone call from you guys, and I've not had a moment to sort it yet.
Yeah, so field repair, and that, we were saying a minute ago, that's what they were designed with field repairs, literal field, whether it's battlefield or farm field repairs.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like you said, the radiator. You were telling me about the radiator. Like you can see, it's pretty damaged and gone or corroded or whatever the terms are.
But it still works, and so actually
remarkable.
The things that will kill a Land Rover would have, or would kill a normal car.
And materials like this, I wonder if that's original sort of stuff.
That is original. I've got new, and I'm loath to change it. I'm trying to figure out ways to, it's nice to keep the original bits and bobs as long as they can.
Yeah, of course. And then there's this, which is definitely that cap. Looks suspiciously like a tin of a 5-litre metal jerry can.
That is exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. I did have the original oil cap for it. That was like a little umbrella cap on top. And I took it to a classic car show and had the bonnet up like this. And when I got back from lunch, it wasn't there anymore.
I was noting like the fan. The fan is a solid steel.
Yeah.
Which isn't very rusty considering either. But it's really, everything's heavy duty.
Yeah.
And there wasn't plastic back then. You wouldn't have a plastic fan or, rubber, yes, but, there's no plastic under here. No. And being that it's off the floor enough, you can go under it or over it and get it working.
Yeah.
So, thanks for letting me see under the bonnet. Can we fire her up so that we can just hear what the old girl sounds like? Yeah.
Good evening, all. You remember that a couple of weeks back I mentioned that we nipped over to Paris for a weekend during the summer? We decided not to take a proper holiday.
So, Chris, we're having a little look around the outside of the Series 2 Land Rover, which is nice. So what can we see here? I don't know. I mean, obviously you've got these side light windows. Are they standard on these? I suppose so.
Absolutely.
Nice rubbers that are starting to erode. Less than natural, isn't it?
Everything's starting to go, but it's all still kind of standing the test of time a bit.
Obviously sliding windows. Which is great. They're all sliding, aren't they? Which is wonderful. Really utilitarian.
And we've got these latches here.
I wonder what that. Yeah.
If you want to turn it into a soft top.
Okay.
Just put in the hoops and the canvas attaches.
Fabulous. Yeah. So we'll walk around and have a look. What else we got? I mean, you showed us earlier that these doors, in fact, if you take the stay off,
absolutely, they go all the way back.
They go all the way back, which is I guess just part of the way this is designed.
Absolutely.
And the stays here. I like the simplicity of it. And this help you get in?
That's it.
Originally, did it have a step?
No, so those I've added actually.
Stirrups,
I made them and just bent a couple of bits of metal, bolted them through the floor, and it meant that the children could climb up. Children could climb in more safely.
Yeah, brilliant.
And that was it, because otherwise they were scruffing their knees. And
yeah, I get it.
So it was lovely.
I like the fact that these are actual wing mirrors.
Yes.
That's why they're called wing mirrors, because they used to sit on the wing, not on the B pillar like they all do now, but wing mirrors. And obviously this, which is the spare wheel holder, isn't it?
I took the spare wheel off.
Because it's just in your way.
Because it gets in the way, and it's very heavy to open up the bonnet. And I thought, well, if I'm opening it up and down today, that's...
I hadn't thought of that. There's no gas struts back in them days, was there? It was literally just lifting up.
So, I told you earlier about when I broke down on my way home.
Yes.
The first time it went, I pulled over onto the hard shoulder, and I pulled up underneath a billboard for Lionel Richie's greatest hits. And that's it. And I took it as fate that this was what the car needed to be called. So the car from then on was called Lionel.
Oh, I see. I sort of thought it said love at a funny, but no, it's Lionel.
It says Lionel. And my little boy, my youngest, when he was about 4, asked me what the name of the car was, and I told him. And while I was doing some work in the back, he came around the front with a screwdriver and wrote the name on the front of the car. It's lovely, and I will never paint over that.
No, I mean, do you? If you put this enamel over it, would eventually disappear, wouldn't it? So do you sort of?
I will. I've taken plenty of photos of it, and if it gets to a point where I do need to cover it over,
re-establish it.
I'm going to make sure that it gets printed on it or something.
Fantastic, love it, absolutely love it. So this is Lionel.
This is Lionel.
I didn't know that. Welcome to Lionel the Land Rover. So Chris, just getting the rear of the Land Rover in, because I think it's an iconic part of Land Rover. The fact that you've got the sort of flip open tailgate and the swing open door or the lay down door, features that are carried on through right up to like the Discovery 5, where it opens up as looking like a whole tailgate, and then the little flip down bit comes out as well. So this is what, 65 years old?
Yes, that's it.
And here it is. I remember this lovely. You'll probably have to do this, not me, but those kind of catches that you find on, even today, find them on trailers, don't you?
Absolutely.
Not cars.
That's it.
But what a wonderful sort of way that the boot opens. And farmers use it with the tailgate because it's so useful having a split tailgate, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's, I use it more for camping nowadays, and it's quite nice to be able to stand here. We've got a little bit of shelter if it does start to spritz, and I can make my teas and coffees or cook up a bacon roll.
And I do, with my Discovery 4, I do that. It goes up and I'm under there. I'll sit down on the tailgate and it's raining.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Wonderful thing.
Love it.
But yeah, how practical it is. I just thought we ought to capture that really, and the kind of the utilitarian part on the back, tow bar and the way it all works and this stays. It's so engineered, it's lovely. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to get it up on a ramp and have a look underneath and see how well this 65-year-old beauty has survived under there.
No problem.
Not aluminium under there, is it? No. So, Chris, here we are underneath the Land Rover Series 2, 1960. This is what they look like. But I noticed that it's got a prior coating on here, and more sort of conventional stuff on a lot of it, and sort of black, and it's flaking, and there's that nasty bit of debate about, well, do we take it all off? Do we, try and scratch off the loose bits? But it's quite a.
Well, that was put on about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I had a top-up coat about 10 years ago.
Right.
But it'd be really good to see what you guys can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge is it's in different places. There you are. The old coat's sort of just coming off with my fingers. But the question is, how rusty is it underneath all of that? And of course, this is a proper box section chassis thing, which is pretty solid. So I'm not so worried about the rust because surface rust. Well, we can just coat that. But it's getting the loose stuff off. So that's what we've got to do. But I was just looking, just generally the condition. I mean, I'd love to know what you lot think. Is it all right? I don't know. Series 2 Land Rover, what would you expect to see under here? It's 65 years old, and I think it's pretty good. Okay, so I'm just having a debate about what we do with this because of the prior coating on it, and some of it's very loose. We don't want to put Lanoguard over loose coating. That there, for example, you can get that. That's very stable, that bit. So you can see I've prepped this here just with a light wire brush, and I'm comfortable with that. To mind yourself there, and I'm just going to spray this here because it shows what we can do with Lanoguard, and I'm happy with that bit there, but that needs cleaning. And then there's just sort of this area I've done a bit of work on. I don't mind that. And we were talking earlier about doing a two-stage approach where basically this first coat will seep in and push off oxidised rust if there is any left. That isn't just sort of surface rust that's stable, and then when we can come back to it in a couple of months and then
treat it again, which is a kind of almost a cheat really to some of the prep work, because it helps push off oxidation. It's what we call the two-stage approach. But I think that's what's needed really. But we need to do a bit of prep on it, and definitely you want to be using some of the moto grease all over it as well, and then spray the whole thing. So I think that's the trick to do really.
When white-shirted Tottenham Hotspurs kicked off against Blackburn Rovers at White Hart Lane, not one of their own...
Okay, so Chris, this is we've got a little bit of prep work to do if we're going to put some Lanoguard on it, which I think we will for you for sure. You know, it looks like it would benefit from it, and you know, being by the coast as well. But I think we want to do a bit of prep work, take some of that flaking off and stuff, which we will do for you for sure.
Thank you very
And
much.
just keep this little iconic, or what is it, heroic, historic 65-year-old Land Rover Series 2 on the road. And yeah, if we're going to get on with a bit of prep and give it a full Lanoguard, I think. And from here we will say, if you like watching this video, be great. There's other driveway icon videos on our channel, so if you want to watch those as well, that'd be great. And if you've got a vehicle that you want us to have a look at and feature on the show, then you know, get in touch. We're always interested to see what you got. Anything you considered a bit of an icon, some people would love to see on the driveway, then get in touch with us. And I think from there, I will say thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.